She was a nurse, the mother of 3 little boys. On the surface, a model wife and a neighbor you could trust. But behind the doors of an elegant Texas home lay a story that would shake the small town of Mexia to its core.
I mean, are we looking to the point that I'm going to have to get an attorney or something? I mean, this is, I haven't done anything. I loved my husband, and I would have never done anything to take him away from his boys, ever.
Oh, yeah. He loved his boys.
No. I mean, they were his world. I mean, I know he loved me. I know that doesn't sound, and I loved him, but our kids were our life. And they still are. I mean, it's...
Chapter 1. Who was Darlene? Darlene Gentry grew up in an ordinary Texas family. From a young age, she dreamed of a stable life, a house with a white fence, children, a husband who would love her unconditionally. At school, she was well-liked, though sometimes overly ambitious. She wanted everything to look perfect. After finishing nursing school, she began working at a local hospital. She was caring, meticulous, and dedicated patients adored her. But friends noticed that Darlene started to care more and more about what others thought of her. She loved expensive clothes, bragged about her new purchases, and dreamed of a bigger house. When she met Stephen Gentry, a handsome, calm, hard-working man, it seemed she had finally found her Prince Charming. Stephen was the kind of man who avoided the spotlight. He worked hard, took care of his family, and was warm and patient. Darlene, on the other hand, loved to shine. At first, they were the perfect couple. Everyone envied them. But as the years passed, differences began to show that could no longer be ignored. Chapter 2. A Marriage with Problems. From the outside, the Gentry family looked like something out of a magazine. 3 adorable boys, a well-kept garden, and an elegant home on a quiet street. But inside that house, tension was growing. Stephen started working overtime more often to keep up with their rising expenses. Darlene wanted more. A new car, expensive furniture, vacations she could show off in photos to friends. She often said others had it better, that she deserved more. Arguments became a daily occurrence. Neighbors heard raised voices. Stephen tried to save the marriage, but Darlene seemed increasingly cold and distant. And then she came up with a plan that, in her eyes, was supposed to be the solution to all her problems. But in reality, it was the beginning of the end. Chapter 3. The Night of the Crime. November 19th, 2005. It was a Saturday, a calm evening. The children were asleep, and Darlene and Stephen were spending the night at home. A few minutes past midnight, a loud bang. Neighbors thought it was fireworks, but moments later, a frantic woman called 911.
Province of 911, what's your emergency? I got up this morning. I was in my son's room because I didn't sleep. My back door was open. My husband's guns are all gone. And there's blood on the bed, and he is struggling foam stuff out of his mouth. And he's making a god-awful sound.
When police arrived, Darlene ran out to meet them, screaming that someone had broken in and shot her husband. But the doors were locked from the inside. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken glass, nothing overturned. Stephen lay in bed, a single gunshot wound to the head. The gun, his own, was found several feet away. Darlene cried, held her head, repeating she didn't know what happened. But her emotions looked off, too controlled, too theatrical. Chapter 4. An investigation full of inconsistencies. At first, police treated Darlene as a victim. But the longer the investigation went on, the more things didn't add up. Her story changed with every interview. First, she said she was asleep and heard nothing. Then, that she saw a shadow in the hallway. Later, that she heard Stephen talking to someone on the phone. Investigators also discovered that no one had seen a stranger in the area that night, and every door and window was locked from the inside. So they started looking closer at Darlene. They examined her clothes, her hands, and the family computer found in the house. And what they discovered changed the course of the case. Chapter 5. The Life Insurance Policies. Just days after the funeral, Darlene began asking about the life insurance money. Not one policy, but 3 totaling over $100,000. Detectives began to wonder, was that a coincidence? They searched Darlene's computer, and there they found something no one expected. Search history. How to make a death look like an accident. How to clean a gun after using it. Can gunpowder residue be washed off skin? Chapter 7. Darlene's Crucial Mistake. A few weeks later, police received an anonymous tip. Someone claimed to have seen Darlene driving late at night toward a nearby pond and throwing something into the water. Detectives went there the next day. They stopped by the shore, brought in search dogs, and began combing the area. After several hours, they found a bag. Inside, parts of a disassembled gun duct tape gloves and plastic bags. Everything wrapped up and buried in the mud. On the tape, Darlene's fingerprints. That was the moment the entire puzzle finally came together. The perfect crime. Ruined by one careless mistake. Chapter 8. The Escape Attempt and Arrest. When Darlene learned police had the evidence, she tried to run. She packed her bags, gathered her children, and tried to leave town. But she was arrested before she could cross the state line. During the trial, she tried everything. Tears, emotions, claims that the police had set her up. But the evidence was overwhelming. Gunpowder residue on her hands. Fingerprints on the bag with the gun. Motive: the life insurance money. In 2007, the court found Darlene Gentry guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Chapter 9. Reaction and Reflection. Today, Darlene still claims she's innocent. She writes letters from prison insisting she was framed. But no one believes her anymore. Her children grew up without parents. Their father gone, their mother behind bars. Stephen's family never recovered from the loss. And in the small town of Mexia, people still whisper about her. It's a story about how the desire for luxury can turn love into murder. How the perfect image of a family can hide darkness. The case of Darlene Gentry reminds us of one thing: evil doesn't always look like a monster from a movie. Sometimes it wears a smile, a nurse's white uniform, and speaks with a gentle voice. It's a story about how the pursuit of a better life can become the beginning of the end. If you want more stories where appearances deceive and the truth emerges when least expected, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and tell me in the comments which case I should cover next.